Corbin's local wildlife is owned by Roy Corbin and located at Belmont Farm Road, Mason Hall, Tobago. If you visit the property, you will learn about the history of the clean teeth trees and about different species of the local wildlife at the park. I'm Davia Chambers and this is Let's Talk Tobago. This week we take a look at community meetings in Tobago, the importance of a strategic plan, and later some insight on the youth ambassadors of the island. These and more stories when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
Going to Barbados? Why continue to pay high prices when you can get there for only US $231.95, all taxes included? Yes, you heard right. You can now travel to Barbados from Tobago for a mere US $231.95 on Gold's weekly service. So if you're going to Barbados for business, the beach, crop over, or attending university, stop wasting your money on those other high-priced airlines and get there for a fraction of the cost. To book, just log on to www.vogel.com.br. Barbados just got closer.
This solar-powered house was built by Roy Corbin for students and workers interested in the study of forestry, wildlife, animals, and poultry. Our first story takes us to the cabinet meeting held right here in Tobago. Here's Omodara Mills with the highlights on what was discussed.
Tobago's issues had the attention of Cabinet at the meeting of the country's decision makers on the island. Tourism and housing challenges came into focus. Air transport is a major hindrance to tourism growth on the island, so more reliable flights, particularly by Caribbean Airlines, is a critical issue that was addressed by the Cabinet.
The Cabinet took a decision that the Ministry of Finance, where the corporation sole exists, and which were called reports, and the THA and the Ministry of Tourism will meet as a matter of urgency and with proper technical and financial advice determine what role CAL must and can play in satisfying the need for improved air access to Tobago.
Other challenges for the island's tourism sector were discussed and included some of the issues at the state-owned Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, upgrading the A&R Robinson International Airport, and improving the marketing and branding of Tobago. Land title regularization is one of the matters which the Chief Secretary of London presented to the Cabinet on behalf of the THA, an issue for which she got some positive feedback.
We did get a commitment from the Attorney General that the three bills which were brought to the Parliament in 2010 but were allowed to be discarded, that they're going to look at them again. But the whole objective is to find a way that we can get through the judicial, the legislative, and the administrative challenges that have plagued us as we try to treat with this troubling question.
The central government's new model for funding housing developments is one area that the THA hopes to benefit from.
As you know, the government has put forward a new plan to bring the private sector and have the private sector more involved in the delivery of affordable housing in Trinidad and Tobago. And one of the issues with which we treated, of course, is how the Tobago House of Assembly could benefit from that.
The Assembly's secretaries also met with their respective ministers to hold discussions. The THA expects that this kind of open communication and respectful relation will continue. I'm Omodara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
From preschools to secondary schools, all have visited the park for some interactive history and nature lessons. So the THA finally had a meeting with the Minister of National Security. The last time this happened was in 2014, and this next story gives us some idea of what was discussed.
Long-standing security issues like the construction of police stations at Roxborough and Old Grange, and new fire stations in Corland and Roxborough, have all been addressed and timelines have been set. This comes after a meeting between Chief Secretary of London and Minister of National Security, retired Major General Edmund Dillon.
The Minister has indicated that UNICOT has prepared bid packages for a number of police stations, including these two, and he is fairly hopeful that there could be a start of construction in July. With respect to the Roxborough Fire Station, UDCOT again is looking at the structural integrity of the fire station, and depending on the structural integrity, a determination will be made as to whether it's going to be renovation or demolition.
The Chief Secretary was also concerned with the unfavorable conditions inmates have had to endure at the Scarborough prison. So he suggested this.
One of the recommendations that I would have made is that we could have, using the modular system, a construction at the Hope Estate that could be done in a reasonable time to accommodate these inmates who are now housed in very, very unfavorable circumstances at Scarborough.
I haven't had a discussion in terms of the modular approach. I think it gives us some way going forward to get it as quickly as possible on the agenda. But what a modular sort of construction allows us is to treat the process as quickly as possible.
Another burning issue from the Chief Secretary was the Tobago Crime Plan, which will address the island's unique security needs.
If we could take that to the next level, then the person responsible for the Tobago division should in fact have a rank of a Deputy Commissioner of Police, so that he reports directly to the Commissioner and not to anybody else, and therefore Tobago is treated as an entity. And the person responsible for Tobago in reality takes almost sole responsibility for what goes on in Tobago. And again, the Minister seemed to favor this approach.
There will be another meeting in April. This time, the heads of the country's various security agencies will discuss Tobago's security in greater detail. I'm Kearney Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
This park was previously a dairy farm and formally established as a local wildlife park 2 years ago. The owner's inspiration for the construction of the park came from his childhood love for both plants and animals. So he combined both. Greater transparency in the Assembly's procurement of goods and services is among the top priorities for the Chief Secretary's office these days. We bring some highlights from a recent consultation with suppliers and the new process. Take a look at this story.
There is a new procurement policy for the provision of goods and services to the Tobago House of Assembly. It will ensure there's predictability in how the THA obtains goods and services. Each division will now have a procurement department. This department will prepare a complete list of the division's planned projects and material requirements for the financial year.
One of the critical things that the procurement regulator would do is to establish a depository, meaning a database of as many people who indicate a willingness to supply goods, services, or works to the government or the government agencies or to public bodies, to use that more generic term. All right. So consequently, the OPR would establish that. Consequently, procuring entity shall also establish its own database. It would ask people, so you'd have a register. That is not unlike what happens now, that you ask people to register for particular types of activities.
All tenders will be placed on the THA's website, and all offers will be listed along with a successful bid.
A procuring entity shall accept the successful submission after it has done the evaluation, and whoever it has come up with as a successful submission. And that submission should be accepted unless the supplier or contractor presenting the successful submission is disqualified.
Suppliers, contractors, and vendors will now have to register with the Tobago House of Assembly. The THA will seek to buy only from vendors who have adequate financial strength and high ethical standards. Vendors must also demonstrate their respective records of adhering to specifications and maintaining delivery timelines.
The Procurement Control Office will establish a database of contractors and goods and service providers, a database of vendors basically. And that is one of the reasons why we call you here, to advise you that fairly soon in the press, like we sent out the notice about this meeting, persons will be invited to register. And we thought it best to have a meeting with you here to prep you so that you'll understand when you see that notice in the papers and so on where we are going.
The procurement policy is geared towards fostering greater transparency in the Tobago House of Assembly. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
On the other side of the break, a plan that helps a division to improve and guide its operations. Stay with us. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
The manikou, or opossum as it's known, is nocturnal and is the biggest scavenger in the park. Its sharp claws assist with climbing trees and defending itself, a favorite prey of local hunters, but these are safe here in the park. One division has embraced a new strategic plan to better improve its operations. The process is a long but rewarding one. Here's more on this story from Omadara Mills.
Building families, sustaining culture, preserving communities, changing lives. That's the new vision for community development and culture. It's just one of the aspects of the division's 3-year strategic plan that was presented for discussion among their THA associates, culture stakeholders, and community representatives. The participants also shared their perspectives on the division's strengths, weaknesses, and role on the island.
I see the division as a facilitator, in some cases an owner, and the ownership is in developing or facilitating the development, supporting again the empowerment. We have to be together, like there's a team we learned this morning. As an individual, we are a drop. Together, we are an ocean.
The need for the division's 2016 to 2018 strategic plan came out of the objectives of the THA's Comprehensive Economic Development Plan 2.0.
This is what we are planning for today. How do we approach our work differently to ensure that at the end of the day we can continue to preserve the culture?
This consultation is important because, one, we would like to get buying into the process by our stakeholders, and secondly, we are planning the way forward, and we cannot plan in a vacuum. We need feedback from all relevant stakeholders, and we see their services, their recommendations as being important to the division.
This is the third stage of the division's strategic planning process. Other consultations are scheduled before the final document.
We hope that we have an improvement in our delivery system, in our programs, so that the right impact is felt on the right target group and that no one is left out. So we're all about accountability, inclusivity, making sure that everyone has a say in the entire process as much as possible.
The plan will be used to implement the day-to-day operations of all departments and introduce more effective relations with their external partners. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
There are 3 different species of iguanas in Tobago. These animals are vegetarians which feed on fruits and leaves. They're also one of the most hunted in this country, but this park does not allow anyone to hunt and eat its star attractions. Now, healthcare in Tobago has come a long way since the new Scarborough Hospital was opened 3 years ago. This story in particular highlights the accomplishments of the Tobago healthcare sector, which has reduced the dependency on Trinidad services for Tobagonians. In fact, Tobago has a few boasts, one of them being the only pediatric ophthalmology service in the Regional Health Authority system in the country. We have more details in this report.
We moved from this to this, and in a matter of 3 years, the Division of Health and Social Services and the Tobago Regional Health Authority have made major strides in developing the island's healthcare industry.
The year 2015, with the hospital doing over 2,000 CAT scans, right, and over 6,000 ultrasounds. That is but a milestone, and it is something that within itself one must give credence to.
At the new Scarborough General Hospital, patients are now able to undergo glaucoma and retinal surgeries, along with other new ophthalmologic services.
We are the only RHA in Trinidad and Tobago that provides a pediatric ophthalmology service. That service traditionally has always been run by private sector.
The Tobago Regional Health Authority is looking forward to implementing new emergency management projects in the future, all in an effort to improve patient care on the island. This includes improving efficiency at all emergency bases.
The aim is to make sure that those bases are manned 24 hours. And as we expand, we will not exclude the other side of the island, which includes Mariah, Castara, Mason Hall, etc., because we have to take into consideration the peculiar geography of Tobago, and that will also impact on our response time.
The new trends and developments in Tobago's healthcare sector is hoped to be an annual event. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Here's some useful information about the slithery creatures at Corbin Park. There are no poisonous snakes in Tobago, and this cage contains 2 breeds of snakes, the boa constrictor and the tree boa or mango snake as it's called. Tree boa snakes are very aggressive. Here, both species of snakes are fed with rabbits, chickens and rats. It usually takes them about 2 weeks to digest their food. We step away from nature in this next story and pay attention to some man-made structures. When you hear the word maintenance, you automatically think of roads or parks, but businesses alike also need to upgrade and maintain their appearance. Here's more in this story.
For years, the Milford Court Plaza has been home to a pharmacy, preschool, office spaces and small businesses that supply the residents of the Milford Court housing development and environs with vital services and goods. Over time, though, there's been the general deterioration of the facility. So, the landlord, the Division of Settlements and Labour, is in the process of carrying out several repairs to the 4 buildings, beginning at the top.
We've decided we'll start with the roofs and the ceilings to upgrade them because we were having some leaks in a couple of the buildings, so we wanted to alleviate that problem during the dry season preferably, because so that coming for the rainy season we won't have any of those leaks and so affecting the tenants. Directly for the tenants, the upgrades will obviously make life for them a little better. The roof will be a little more secure as well, because we know that they have had some break-ins in the past. So we are trying to make the buildings more secure.
In addition to new window treatments and the doors, the electrical and plumbing fixtures will also be upgraded.
The upgrades here is to try to make it a little more attractive, try to get more customers back to the coming into Milford Court Plaza. The tenants can get more people coming and using their facilities or using whatever services that they provide. And also just a general uplifting of the area.
In an effort to make the refurbishments less stressful for the tenants and keep the businesses in operation during the repair period, the division held discussions with them about the plans and the best times to schedule the works. One of the 13 tenants expressed satisfaction at what's already completed.
The upgrades, well, my section looks pretty well. I think they did a good job in a short space of time. It was well done.
With sufficient funding, it's hoped that most of the repairs can be completed by the end of this fiscal year. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up, we take on the U.S. Embassy Youth Ambassadors Program. See you right after the break.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
These squirrels and armadillos share a cage. Armadillo, locally known as the tattoo, helps to keep the snake population under control as they feed on baby snakes. They also fold into their shells as a protective mechanism when predators attack. Now, are you a secondary school student? Do you possess strong leadership skills? Then you have what it takes to be a youth ambassador and can become one. We have all the details in this next story. Listen up.
That's the Tobagonian Daniel Francis in 2014 at the United States Embassy's Youth Ambassador Exchange Program in the USA. He learned about qualities such as leadership, along with other valuable life skills that are helping him prepare for the future. Now Daniel is encouraging other Tobagonians to apply for the 2016 edition. The program is open to applicants between the ages of 15 and 18.
The whole experience for the program was basically, for me, it was an eye-opening experience because I learned a lot in aspects as how to build my leadership skills, how to bond with other people, how to be friendly with other people. And I also learned that it's good, change is good.
8 students from Trinidad and Tobago will be selected to participate in a 3-week exchange program from August 8th to the 29th in the U.S. Successful applicants will get skill-based training, interact with teenagers from other countries, and engage with government and non-governmental organizations.
The purpose of the program is to build leadership skills and team skills in local youth, and also to bring youth ambassadors from the Caribbean to the United States for greater cultural understanding.
The theme for this year's program is social transformation, and the candidates' work doesn't end after they leave the U.S.
They go off to their peers. They recommend apply. And this is what we would like to have, the multiplier effect, which is you go, you learn, and you come back and you help implement either a project in your community or school that would affect your community.
Applicants must be citizens of this country, attended secondary school, and have an outstanding school record. Information and application forms can be found at www.ttya.org. Applications should be sent to ttyouthambassadors@gmail.com by midnight, March 4th, 2016. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
This bird hide was constructed specially for bird watchers. From here, they can view the different species in Corbin Park. 3 species of hummingbird commonly visit the hide, giving watchers an up-close opportunity to take photos. Next, Crystal George shares details from the meeting between the THA and UNICEF, which explored child poverty, public finance for children welfare, and policy development. Let's take a look.
UNICEF is a foundation that focuses on the development and well-being of every child across the world. Its mandate is to help children overcome obstacles such as poverty, disease, and violence. In Trinidad and Tobago, the organization is looking for potential areas for collaboration.
UNICEF is part of the UN system here in Trinidad and Tobago. My work is focused on social policy, so areas on child poverty, public finance for children, as well as social protection.
Mrs. Faisal says the program is a work in progress. She says discussion will continue on the island with the intention of providing programs and support geared towards child development.
We really try to see where UNICEF can support technically in terms of policy development, supporting on data generation, and support on building the information base specifically on children.
UNICEF is active throughout 190 countries to date. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
This park has 2 ponds and 3 caimans call this pool home. The largest and the most popular of the 3 is called Killian, and he's quite the poser as he loves to show off for visitors. But it seems like Killian is a little shy today. Tobago Jazz Experience 2016 is right around the corner. With big names like Lauryn Hill, the lineup is bound to thrill fans once again. Here's Juliet James with news on what we can expect this year.
Neo-soul artist and Grammy Award winner Maxwell is the latest addition to the lineup for the Tobago Jazz Experience. The international singer, songwriter, producer will deliver a number of his hit songs on the Pigeon Point stage at Beach Jazz Fiesta on Sunday, 24th April. Sharing the main stage with Maxwell and Miss Lauryn Hill is local favorite Adana, jazz guitarist Clifford Charles, and the band Image. Although Pigeon Point Heritage Park is the main stage for Tobago Jazz Experience, taking the event around Tobago gives both locals and visitors the opportunity to explore other parts of the island. Speyside is home to Jazz in the East and will provide a blend of soca and jazz acts.
Saturday the 16th, we're at Speyside. The main headliner is David Rudder. We also have another local star who is really making waves now through the Caribbean, Rita Edmond. We also have Roy Cape, Blacks, Ricardo Drew, Benjai, Patrice Roberts, Nappy, Garden Night, the Freedom Street Band out of Lansumi.
New to the calendar of events is Jazz on the Move, taking place from April 17th to 19th. This is where local bands will perform at hotels around the island, a move that hoteliers hope will attract visitors to the various accommodations.
I think there's about 7 different hotels that have been want to be part of this, and it looks like it's going to be a very positive thing, and it'll be interesting to see the result because it puts a different twist on the jazz experience.
Another new event is Carry Jazz on April 23rd. It will feature Caribbean artist Third World and Arturo Tappin and the band, along with locals Etienne Charles and Three Canal. The Tobago Jazz Experience runs for 9 days from April 16th through the 24th, showcasing a mix of international, regional and local performers. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's now time to have your say, and our question for you is, how will the face-to-face community meetings with the THA help your community? Let's take a look at who had their say this week.
The community meetings are a step in the right direction. Anyway, you have consultancy, especially where you have the people on the ground, the grassroots people, making their inputs. I think that's a very positive step.
Develop the community center, have it more active and open.
As long as they're doing what the people say, it will be good, but if they're doing what the people say, that makes no sense we having them.
You see, like when people resign, we just take too long to get away money.
Crime just going rampant in Tobago because they're doing enough.
Well, like a park, and sometimes transport does be very hard to go.
Improve Canaan, or I should say the Crown Point area within tourism, not just having buildings only.
That's all for us on this edition of Let's Talk Tobago. We thank you for watching. Please email us if you have a comment or query about this program, and be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week. We close now with footage from the Tobago Jazz Experience 2015.
Sweet, sweet TNT. Lord, I love my country. Sweet, sweet TNT. Everybody jump up on the stage. Jump up and just wave. Jump and misbehave. Jumping up again. Up in the midst of the melody. It goes to the right. One hand on together. They talk about trust. Talking about